we'll just put it live like this.
Perfect.
And we will figure it out.
All right.
Hey guys, on Facebook on this incredible Super Tuesday election night, I understand that what's going on in the polls is very important, but what is going on in your businesses right now and what's going on with your growth and what's going on in your careers, I think is the most important. I think I read something about Zig Ziglar a long time ago who said, you know, the most powerful thing any of us can do for us is have a strong sense of drive and perseverance to achieve our goals and dreams. Manny and I are sitting here and we're just beginning to kind of go over the agenda and fine-tune things for this massive event we're going to do right here in San Antonio.
Yes.
And I know some people have been asking some business questions and looking for some guidance to grow their networks and grow their events. But I want to turn it over to Manny right now and have him kind of talk just real briefly about the event, and then not a whole lot yet, and then maybe jump into the first business question that we were asked.
Okay, that sounds good. In fact, let me give you a couple dates. First of all, April 6th. So you want to save that date. So what we're going to do, actually it's Jeremy's doing, and I'm going to be there and support him, of course, is his mastermind event coming up April 6th. So make sure you save that date. And then the other date, we're going to go live with the link tonight, is what I've been saying on Facebook this whole time, is May 7th. I believe that's a Saturday night. So instead of going to the club, we're going to grow your business so we could own the club instead of dance at the club, right? So it's going to be a fun event, but it's a limited seating event. We really want to roll up our sleeves and bless people and help people in a very deep way. So we're not interested in having 1,000 people at this event. We're going to lock this event at a certain number, and we're going to get down to business and grow your sales. The whole point of all this is how to grow your sales. How do you make 6-7 figures? Some of you don't know what it is to make $100,000 or $1 million. Some of you would say, wow, if I just made $50,000, $75,000 this year, I'd be happy. Well, say that no more. We're going to show you actual ways that you can make that happen and both those dates.
Yeah, if you want to reserve your spot, because we will absolutely sell out for our Mastermind Mega Mixer. We sell out every one of our events. You can go to mastermindmegamixer.com right now and secure your spot. You know, and this actually parlays really well into one of the questions I want to ask Manny. I was thinking to myself when I was coming over here. I believe the most valuable asset any of us have, bar none, is our network. I believe that that's something that nobody can take away from you, no matter what the economy or the elections might take place in that area. And I believe that when you're rich in friends, when you're rich in people that you can go to for guidance and advice, you're poor in absolutely nothing. So Manny, you know, I believe that's your most important asset. How do you feel about that?
So you're spot on, right? So I agree with that 1,000%. In fact, in the speaking world and in the seminar world, we talk about your net worth is equal to your network. So you've got to always be around the right people. The other day I posted about kind of a rule of friends. About 1/3 of your friends should be learning from you. About 1/3 should be at the same plane as you. But 1/3 you should be learning from. You should always be growing and learning. And you sometimes are one idea, but one door, one phone call away from a multi-million-dollar business. And by having the right people in your network, they can open a door that you may not be able to. So I think it's imperative that your entire business life, you're building your network of people where you're adding value to them. And then when the right time comes, they add value to you and your business.
Absolutely, that's strong. Carly, you're right. I love that. We're going to own the club too. That was a great comment. There's going to be a lot of value provided at this meeting on May the 7th. You're going to change the dynamics of your business, because all too often you have people, when they give guidance, when they speak, all they're doing is providing motivation and inspiration. They're not really providing substance. They're giving you some milk, but they're not giving you meat. And I think if you're going to grow your business, if you're going to live the life of your dreams, you need someone who's been there and who's done that. You know, they say never ask advice from someone who you wouldn't trade places from. So someone who's been there, someone who's done that, and somebody who has the ability to say, here's the steps that it takes and what you need to do to achieve your goals in a step-by-step systematic plan. You know, let's jump over real quick because some people were asking questions.
Let's answer some questions.
And let me look at the one on your Facebook page, Manny. I think the first question was from Lisa. And she said, do you recommend paying to boost your post on Facebook business page?
I'll let you start with that because this is your spot.
You know, I'm obsessed, and that's probably the very best way to say it. I'm obsessed with understanding how social media works. I just gave a class a week ago today, and it was 5 social media hacks. I believe that where we are in social media today is where we were 20 years into the automobile being invented, and that means we haven't seen anything yet. I believe that when it comes to Facebook advertising, think about driving down the interstate here on 410 or 281 or I-10. You're probably not going to be driving very fast if you're driving at this time. But what if they only showed your billboards to people who are your customers? That's a strong thing to think about, and that's the way Facebook works. The problem, though, with advertising, and the reason why people will go advertise and then they'll get burnt, is because they don't do it the right way. They don't have a strategic approach when it comes to having a strong call to action, having consistency in their messages. And so just to answer the question and not take too long on this, I absolutely do recommend that you boost, because right now on your personal Facebook pages, all you get is a 2 to 6% reach. And you're lucky if you hit that 6% reach. And so you're going to have to pay to play, as Facebook says. But what Facebook has done is they've spent $20 billion to go find your perfect customers. People think Facebook bought Instagram just because it was an incredible app, an incredible growing network. They bought Instagram, though, because they wanted more data for their advertisers. They wanted their advertisers to have as much data as possible so they could get their target markets. And so when it comes to a question like that, to boost your post, yes, absolutely do that. But make sure that when you're doing that, your targeting is on point, and also make absolutely certain that your image is on point. That's really, really important. Anything to add, Manny?
No, I agree with that 1,000%. As many of you know, I run a nonprofit, the 4A Kids. So I've also boosted posts, but I very much targeted to cancer support groups and people that have an emotional connection to something I'm doing, not just everybody on the planet. So there's nothing really more to add. I think you were spot on.
Another question came in by Cynthia. Cynthia asked, do community calendars work for marketing, publicity? I have a community event Saturday. I mostly have used Facebook.
Yeah, so listen, at the end of the day, hope, wishing, and praying that you put a post somewhere on the calendar and people are going to flood your event is not a real strategy. So you have to be proactive. So it's not that it works or doesn't work, it's are you working that strategy? But just putting a post up there, it's kind of like if I'm selling my dishwasher or washer and dryer, let's say, and I live in an apartment complex and I put I'm selling my washer and dryer on the washer and dryer community wall. I'm hoping, wishing, praying someone stops by and takes my number. That's not a real strategy. But if I went door to door and said, hey, do you know if anybody needs a washer and dryer? Now that's a proactive strategy, and that's really what I believe in. You've got to be proactive.
You know, I want to talk real briefly about something called the law of use. And the reason why I want to discuss real briefly the law of use, because I think a lot of people are trying to promote events or trying to grow their businesses, and they're not digesting that anything that you do not feed will not grow. You know, there's a parable of the talents in the Bible, and I'll just refresh your memory. I know everybody knows this real quick, but remember the person who was given 3 talents? There was another person that was given 2 talents, and another person that was given 1. And so the master goes away, comes back, and brings them all back into the room and says, you know, the one with 3 talents, how did it go? What'd you do with your talents? And he said, you know, I wheeled and dealed, I invested, I did whatever I had to do to, you know, make you happy. And I took the 3 talents, got a difficult start, but now I have 6 talents. Records will show 6 talents. The next person who was given 2 talents, or measures of gold, what it was in the Bible, said the same thing. You know, got a little rocky start, but took the 2 talents, and now I have 4. And then they came to the person who was given only that 1 talent. And he says, you know, I was scared that I would lose your talent, your measure of gold. So I went and dug a hole, buried the talent, camouflaged it, I suppose, to make sure it was protected. And here's your 1 talent. Thank you, you know, for coming back. And what the master does is he says something like, depart from me, you wicked and slothful man. And here's what we can depict from that story. we have to be willing to use our talents, to use our abilities, and it has to be a literally like a military approach when it comes to our businesses, when it comes to our events. There needs to be an Air Force where you're going at it at the air. There needs to be a Marines where you're on the ground. There needs to be a Navy approach. You have to go after whatever it is you're trying to promote or whatever it is you're trying to build with every single arsenal that you have, because a lot of people wonder why they're not more successful, or they don't have the things that they want, but yet the law of use states whatever you don't use, you lose. So you must use every single thing at your disposal to grow your businesses, to grow your events. Manny, I'm sure you have.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just going to copycat really what you said. Is you've got to use it all. You've got to be proactive. The community calendar is just one thing you can do to make that event happen. You can send personal invitations. You can make personal phone calls. You can get involved with groups and post on a daily basis where you're adding value and they're interested in coming to your event. So just posting something is not going to drum up business, but being proactive in that post has the ability to produce more, obviously, than just hope, wishing, and pray someone's going to show up. I mean, Jeremy and I have an event May 7th, right? We're not just going to post a link and hope the gates flood with people. We're going to be very proactive the next 60 days to make sure the event sells out, and we're going to be inviting people. We're going to be involved with groups. We're going to have more dialogue like this. We're going to promote it at his mastermind event. So you've got to be, it's like he's saying, you send out the Army, the Navy, the Marines, the Coast Guard, you know, you send it all to make it happen.
Let me give credit where credit's due. My friend Adam taught me that strategy when it comes to deploying every resource possible. And he's doing an extraordinary event in LA next month that I'll probably put some information out about if anybody's in that area. But, you know, this almost comes full circle when it talks about promoting your events or promoting your business. And what I mean by full circle is when you have a strong network, when you have a strong group of reliable friends who have their own strong networks, those are the people that can help you put the word out, if you will. Those are the people that can help make your events, make your business successful. Because each one of us need other people to help us become successful in life. And, you know, we didn't get a whole lot of questions because we didn't throw them out there as early as we probably should have to let people know that we'll be, you know, answering your questions. But let's touch on maybe just 2 points, and I'll put you on the spot, Manny. If people were teetering saying, you know, should I invest my time on May the 7th? Should I go out, because this is going to be several hours? How long do you...
I think we're going to schedule 4 hours, and we may be there to midnight. I mean, I'm going to tell you, I'll leave when the last person leaves. So I think we're going to be scheduled 6 to 10, but we're willing to do whatever it takes. What we want is people to be more successful. So even though we're, you know, the club where we're having it may kick us out, then we'll just go have it in the patio or wherever on the street. It doesn't matter. We'll come here to my office. But the content's going to be amazing.
You know, some of the things that I want to lay out for people at this event is I want to slowly, methodically lay out a step-by-step plan, because I think that people try to take a shortcut in business.
Yes.
They try to, they misunderstand that a 1,000-mile journey begins with the very first step and can only be taken one step at a time. I used to tell people all the time when I would speak in the finance industry, you can't do the fancy stuff until you nail the fundamentals. And so making sure that you're mastering the basics, making sure that you're not getting too big for your britches and trying to do the fancy things is really important, because there's a lot of fundamental concepts that I think people miss. You know, maybe their customer avatar, maybe it's an actual sales and marketing plan that will drive home points that will invoke an emotional response to make people make a choice. You know, one of the mistakes I see a lot of business people making these days is they don't have enough testimonials or enough other people talking about their products or their businesses and their services. When I'm coaching coaches, I tell them, if you don't have 3 people that will do a video testimonial for you, talking about your services, talking about your results, let me repeat that, your results, yes, then you need to go find people that will do those video testimonials for you, and you need to work for them for free. And none of them like that, but you've got to get people out there who are willing to go to bat and talk about, I use this person's philosophy, this person's plan, and this is where it took me. This is the success I was able to achieve. This is the money I was able to make, because the proof is in the pudding.
Yeah. Let me echo and piggyback on that. The other thing, every business has a DNA, right? There's a DNA to business, kind of like success leaves footprints. The challenge is, for those of us who've been in business or multiple businesses, we keep wanting to mess with the formula. We'll get a speaker, they'll say, listen, I made $1 million because this is what I did. In fact, I shared a strategy at one of my events. I made $250,000 with a shoe. And I'll talk about this on May 7th. I'm not going to talk about the strategy here. But I did it with a shoe. And I said, this is step A, B, C. This is exactly how I did it. And of course, people leave the event and they go A, B, F. A, B, Z. They keep trying to mess with the formula and think that they want to do it on their own, but they're in the room because they didn't know, or they know and they want to get better. So quit messing with the formula. We're going to lay out an amazing formula. And let me echo something. You're right. If you don't have clients, go get some, even if you've got to give away your services. When I started speaking, I built a multi-million-dollar real estate company. I was speaking in the real estate business first. And in the real estate business, in the beginning, I didn't have any clients, and no one was hiring me to speak. So I went to Century 21 and said, listen, I've got the most amazing program on the planet. I'm willing to give it to you for free to your agents. All I want from you is a testimonial. And they did. Then I went to Remax. I got a testimonial from them. And then I went to Coldwell Banker, got a testimonial from them. So then I started marketing to other real estate companies. And I would say, look at what Century 21 said about me. Look at what Remax. Look what Coldwell Banker. And that's how I built the business. So sometimes you got to do whatever it takes. In the beginning, I didn't have testimonials, and I banked on my ability to produce. So I went out there and gave dynamic content, got my love letters, and then I was able to market my love letters. So you got to sometimes be creative. But when speakers or authors or bestsellers or people on the platform are sharing content with you, quit messing with the formula. The DNA to every business. Let us show you some of the DNA that has helped us be successful. And by the way, while we're going to be with Jeremy here for another 10 minutes, whatever Facebook allows us, then we're going to jump onto my Facebook page and give you guys 30 more minutes. So if you've got a specific question, ask the experts. You have us right now. Go ahead and ask some questions, and we'll answer them here live right now on Facebook for you.
Yeah, I just put in the comment section, what's your biggest business challenge? And if you're watching live right now, type in a comment, because a challenge that you might be facing, somebody else may be facing too. And if you have two business gurus, well, maybe one guru and one goofball, I'm just kidding.
Goofball.
But when you have two business minds here that are giving you an opportunity to look at your business from a different vantage point. You know, I tell people all the time, when you're in the jar, you can't read the label.
Yes.
And so when you have someone that can look at your business from the outside and say, you might want to approach it this way, or you might want to lay out your sequence of events this way, I think that that's something that a lot of people don't understand that value. You know, people miss I tell people, asking for help is not a sign of weakness. Asking for help is a sign of wisdom. I don't know all the answers. I go to Manny with, I'm struggling with this situation right here. What do you think? And then I get answers from him and several of my other business mentors as well. So if you have a business question right now, please throw it out there. We'd love to answer it. But let me push it over to Manny right now and maybe ask him a question. If there's a person that's watching this, or there'll be hundreds that will watch the replay, and they're wondering, where do I get started? Where do I begin? You know, I'm working a job right now, and I have a dream in my heart. I have a passion that I'd like to pursue. What is the first two, and I want as simple as humanly possible, what are the first two most simple steps that they should take to begin strategizing to start their own business, to go out on their own? And two-part question, what are the primary things, and then how do they get the confidence to do this? Because I think a lot of people lack confidence to execute their plans.
Well, let me back up. You get the confidence by doing the work and surrounding yourself with people equally yoked, like-minded, that can support your vision and your goals. So, like, for example, I'm going to go back to May 7th. We're going to, even your networking event in April 6th, there's a group of people, everyone's wanting to be better. Everyone's struggling with something. They want to get better. So you got to get in the environment where people can encourage each other, and you're not out by yourself trying to figure it out. And then the first part of that question is, where do you start? You start with setting a goal. You start by reading some books. If you're interested in money, how many books have you read about money today or yesterday or the day before? If you want to open up a restaurant, how many books have you read about opening up a restaurant? When's the last time you went into a restaurant and say, hey, listen, can I just observe, kind of be a fly on the wall and see what's happening from A to Z, from the moment you open to the moment you close. Be involved. Don't treat it like a hobby. You know, that's the other thing that happens. People treat their businesses like a hobby. If you really want to do something, then do whatever it takes to do it, and start putting down a vision that you can see on a daily basis so they can manifest itself into a reality, and then hang out with people that can support that vision. I had someone email to me today that they wanted to do something on the south side of town. They have this big thing they want to do on the south side of town, and he doesn't know where to start. So my advice was, start with people who have an interest in the south side of town. Look at the businesses that are wanting to grow out there, the development that's happening out there, and lock arms with people that are equally yoked and like-minded. So you don't have to convince them that they need to do things down there. They're already down there doing things because they believe what you believe. So, you know, start with a clear vision and you do whatever it takes on a daily basis. Be involved every single day in your vision. Don't just show up when you feel like it, or it's awesome to talk about it in the conversation among peers or friends, but show up every single day. That's where it begins, when you just decide to show up.
You know, I think one of the most important things any business owner can do, if you've been derailed, if you're off track right now, listen to this. Go find a business out there that's doing something similar like you want to do or you're already doing, and copy what works.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
And I think that a lot of people don't understand that so much of the road has been paved by other people that we want to go try to reinvent the wheel. We want to go try to have our own discoveries, and that doesn't make sense at all. There are so many businesses out there. There are so many people that have spent millions of dollars, years and years of time making mistakes. I love the quote that says, learning from your own mistakes is smart, but learning from other people's mistakes is genius.
Oh, let me add something to that. You can go into Barnes & Noble right now and for $20 get $1 million worth of advice from people who want to do something that you want to do and made all the mistakes already so you could avoid making them. That's what I love about books. Sometimes I'm like, hey, I want to make money online, so I'll go invest in an internet book how to make money online, and they'll teach me, here's the things I did, the mistakes I've made, so you don't have to spend thousands of dollars doing stupid stuff. Here, spend hundreds of dollars or thousands of dollars doing the smart stuff. Follow these ABC steps. And that goes back to my DNA. Don't change the DNA. Don't change the magic formula. Listen to the ones in front of you who have already blazed the path and made the mistakes. You know, I used to tell a story. If you were driving down the road and someone was coming towards you and they're all bloodied, and they'd say, hey, listen, don't go down that road. The road is broken and you're going to fall down the cliff. I just escaped my life. I was able to hang on. Why would you go down that road? But some people insist on doing it. For me, I'd say, oh, thank you very much, and I'd do a U-turn and turn around and go find another way. That's what happens when you read these amazing books from authors of doing things that you want to do. You can learn from their mistakes. I have saved thousands, if not millions of dollars by learning from experts of what not to do. So what happens is I follow their DNA, and I don't try to mess with the formula. You still want to be unique and it's your flavor and your thing, but don't mess with the formula, especially if you're grown and you're still struggling. You know, most people don't have $5,000 in the bank. They're 20, 30, 40, 50 years old. The people are dead broke and they're struggling, and they keep trying to mess with the formula. Just stick with the formula and listen and do ABC. Don't go mess with the formula.
What is the formula? You're asking, what's the formula? Give me the template, give me the blueprint, give me the PDF. On May the 7th, you're going to get the template, you're going to get the formula. I promise you, your time will be very wisely invested. We have about 5 more minutes left on this feed, and then we're going to jump over to Manny's Facebook page, and we're going to be live again for 30 more minutes. But Manny talked about something that's very passionate to me, which is the mistakes that you make. Probably one of my all-time favorite quotes, and you know you're getting quotes from me, comes from Andrew Carnegie. Andrew Carnegie says, as inconsistent as it may seem, you'll learn more about how to succeed from the failures than you will the so-called successes, because they'll teach you what not to do. I have a podcast that launches actually tomorrow on iTunes, and one of the things I'm going to be asking people that I interview is, if you could do it all over again, knowing what you know now, what would you do differently? Because I want business owners, I want entrepreneurs not necessarily to be told what to do, but I want them to know, boy, I made that mistake and it cost me a boatload of money, a boatload of time, and whatever you do, do not do that. So I think when we jump over to Manny's feed, I want to talk a little bit about some of the biggest business mistakes him and I have made when it comes to, I've been in business for almost 20 years now, and Manny has me beat by a little bit there. So Zuckerberg's telling me we have 5 minutes, but let me shoot this to Manny to let him close out and say, Manny, if you could pinpoint one of the biggest mistakes you made when it comes to running your business, you know, maybe it's something you did last week, more than likely it's something you did 15 or 20 years ago. What is the biggest mistake you've made thus far when it comes to business?
Yeah, not listening to the advice of people before me. So, you know, when I wanted to be a speaker, I'll just take my speaking career for a second. I thought I could just go do it on my own, and I wasn't listening to the advice of people before me. So finally, I got locked into seminars with other speakers. I became a member of the National Speakers Association, and I got to listen to how they built their businesses, what I call parks, how they built their parks. And by listening to them, I was able to grow faster. And I avoided just a ton of mistakes. For example, in my speaking world, it's very important that you have relationships with meeting planners, right? Well, I was going about it wrong. So they taught me, this is how you talk to them, this is what you send them, this is what you do. And by doing that, I was able to get to them faster, and they were able to book my schedule. And I used to be booked solid. I mean, I was booked almost 2 years out at one point. So it's very important that you listen to people in front of you. That's one of the mistakes I make. I didn't want to listen. I thought I could just do it all on my own. And the other thing is, invest in marketing. If you don't market, let me be crystal clear, you're invisible. And marketing is only an expense if it's not making you money. So if I put $1 in the machine and I get $2 out, or if I put 1,000 in the machine and I get 2,000 back, you need to do that all day. But if I put $1 in the machine, I'm not getting anything out, maybe it's in the wrong machine. So what I did is I spent money in marketing. I've been into offices where people have $10,000 desk and no business. And I'm like, you should have a $100 desk and put $9,900 into your marketing budget, and then you could have any desk you want. So sometimes people just do things backwards. So in the beginning, I wasn't marketing, and then I realized that everything is a product of marketing. It doesn't matter how awesome you are, what great products and services you have. If you don't market, you're invisible. So make sure you budget marketing.
You know, prospecting is the lifeblood of virtually every single business. If you sit in front of a customer and they tell you that they don't want your product or services, instead of moaning and groaning about them, and when your pipeline is full, you know what you do? You say, next. Okay, next. And, you know, people do the right things in the wrong order. And when it comes down to, you know, not understanding how to fuel their business, maybe they drive a Maserati, and this is a real live example from somebody I visited with yesterday. They might have a $100,000 vehicle, but yet they don't have a sales funnel that allows them to earn money on a consistent basis. And when it comes to investing in a sales funnel that will work for them so that they can wake up in the morning and say, okay, I have all these leads, they want to go buy a fancy car for whatever the reason might be. You need to do the right things in the right order, and the first thing to do is make sure that you have a sales funnel where you can keep your pipeline full at all times. You know, we've got about 2 minutes, a minute and a half left on this. And so again, the number one thing that I'm going to talk about on May the 7th at this event that I hope you'll attend, and we'll put the link above. Right now you can go to BelieveSA.com. So Believe, S like Sam, A like Apple.com, and you can get your tickets there. I believe that early bird tickets are discounted. But Manny and I came up with Believe SA because you need to believe in yourself, believe in your abilities, believe in the formula, believe in the process, believe in the solutions before you'll ever achieve or ever do anything. And the number one thing I'm going to talk to you about on May the 7th is going to be how to keep your pipeline busting at the seams so that you have to shut down your sales funnel because you can't follow up with everybody the right way. So if you want more clients, if you want more prospects, if you want a guarantee you can take to the bank instead of having a slot machine, if you want an ATM machine, you need to be there on May the 7th to learn the formula. You can go right now to to BelieveSA.com and secure your tickets. Manny, 30 seconds. You want to close out?
So listen, if you really want to double, triple your sales, if you really want to have the best year ever, if you really want a blueprint from A to Z and spend time in the room with two experts that have been there and done that and continue to be there and do that, we just don't stop because we're where we're at. We still have goals too. Then be in that room. I'm telling you, it's less than a dinner for two, and it will change your absolute life. So make sure you go to the website, BelieveSA.com, register, because this event is absolutely going to sell out. And we love to have you there. The truth is, we want you there because we want to help you.
I think we're out of time. Thank
All
you.
Right.